Split audio!
What mic do you recommend? Do I really?
Frankie! I want to start streaming! Is my... Dude! What?
Great day, have a great night, wherever you are. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.
What the
Program
mic
to
do you recommend?
call it out of my
Do I
split
really need
audio!
a webcam?
Guys, we've all been there. You're thinking of streaming and have a million questions, just like them, and want them all answered now. But instead of asking so many questions at others, there's something you should ask yourself before even thinking of starting. What question? Let's find out.
Sorry to interrupt this lovely intro, but there's something you need more than anything else before we go any further. How's your internet? Quick. Go do a speed test and pay special attention to the upload speed. Is it consistently above 5 or 6 megs? If so, carry on, no problem. If it isn't, sorry, but you're out of luck. You won't be able to stream unless you upgrade your internet. Alright, let's carry on.
So let's assume you have a good enough internet connection to get your stream out there to the world, and you feel that's what you really, really want to do. But stop. Ask yourself this. Why do I want to stream, and what do I have to offer? Actually, that's two. But if you think about it, it's actually the same question. You'll be creating content, and that content has to have a value that people will be willing to consume. I get it. There are a lot of you out there just want to try it out without giving it much thought. And that's perfectly okay. You want to stream to your friends or just try it out as a potential hobby without any stakes. You don't want to worry about viewers, discoverability, or planning. If that's your case, go on ahead and watch our other videos that will cover the next step from a less metaphysical and more practical point of view. But if you want something more out of this, if you want to get your name out there, build a community around what you do, be able to change people's lives, then this is where you should really start. I don't want to scare anybody when I say this, but you have to look at streaming like starting a small business. You don't just get up one day and go, "Hey, I'm starting a business!" Do you? I mean, you could, but there are a few questions that immediately follow up, like, what type of business? What are you going to sell? What are you offering? Is there a market for it? Is it saturated? Streaming, as it is right now, is basically the same. You can't just YOLO it and hope for the best. Most streaming platforms are oversaturated, and what worked with early streamers won't work for us. Simply putting your game out there and slapping your webcam over it just doesn't cut it anymore, unless you're the next best super skilled esports FPS god. You have to know what you bring to the table, what's going to catch people's attention and make them come back. You have to think long and hard about what it is that sets you apart from everybody else, and why someone would want to consume your content, or even be willing to part with some of their money for it.
But Frankie, it's too hard! I can't think of anything! What are you talking about? Business? Discoverability? Consuming content?
My head! Okay, maybe you dropped a big one in your head. A bomb. Dropped a big bomb. It's so easy to be an armchair or a hindsight streamer, and the advice that we can give you can sometimes be a little confusing and actually hard to carry out. Especially since most of us didn't actually follow it when we started out. So, how was it for us at RWG? We've been streaming for a year and 4 months at the time of writing, so it's not like we're the most veteran out there, but the fact that we've made it this far without breaking and constantly growing gives some weight to what we have to say. We decided to give streaming a go with one clear goal in mind: grow a community around us that would follow us from game to game. We were so frustrated having so many games to play but no decent teams to play with. There was so much content we were missing out of. We wanted a return to the nostalgic good old days, the social communities in MMOs where we all met and had the time of our lives. Also for us, it definitely wasn't an overnight thing either. Booker had been curious about live streaming for many months, and I had absolutely no interest or idea about it. It wasn't until we finally saw our last attempt at building community in yet another MMO fall apart that we knew something had to change. Enter Twitch. With a clear goal in mind, it was just a matter of ironing out the technical details and just going for it. There was a lot of trial and error, but from the get-go, we knew the sort of community we wanted and what our values were. And everything else just flowed from that. I've never had a doubt in my mind along this whole journey because that hasn't changed and still forms part of our core. For us, it wasn't completely clear at the start what we had to offer. We had a notion, but it took a few months of streaming to finally figure it out. Our strongest selling point was the team Booker and I formed. We found out that what set us apart from the crowd was our entire concept of the dual stream, and remains so to this day. I guess there are other things that set us apart and why our community keeps coming back. I mean, share in the comments why you keep coming back and what you value in a stream. So this is why it's so important, guys, to not just YOLO it. I mean, it doesn't have to be a super organized declaration of intentions document that you need to write before you start streaming, but just have a more or less clear idea in your head. Chances are, even if you might think you don't have an idea right now, you actually do. You just have to ask the right questions to yourself. Because let's face it, the fact that you're even considering streaming is a big step already, and there's usually motivation behind that. I mean, it could be anything, don't get me wrong. Whatever works for you, I'm not here to judge. But your audience will be though, so make sure it's in line with your ideals and values. And there you have it. Knowing what you want out of this will keep you going and remind you why you do this when the going gets tough. Because, spoiler alert, streaming is not easy. It will try your patience and it put you to your limits. It will stress you out and burn you if you're not careful. But there's an upside. Streaming is a journey full of self-discovery like I would never have imagined. There's so much in it for you if you want to put in the effort and be ready to overcome those low points. And remember guys, it's not just about you. The community you will eventually grow around you is a living, breathing thing. And they'll begin to affect their lives just as they'll affect yours. So if you ask me, taking the decision to do this has been one of the most exciting and fulfilling projects in my life so far. So yeah, just a few things for you to consider. Just remember, if you want to take this seriously, you'll see progression and you'll see improvement. It will help shape your character and will probably have many positive effects in your real life. Take it from us. Right, I think that about sums up everything I needed to say about that. It's been a pretty intense video, but as I mentioned in the intro, you need to hear the good, the bad, and sometimes just sit down and have a one-on-one chat is also necessary. Remember guys, we stream regularly every week. Check our links out in the description and be sure to head on over to Twitch and smash that follow button. I shall catch you guys around. Happy streaming, everyone.
I never knew streaming could be so serious. I thought it would all be fun and games. I'll give it a go. I'm gonna subscribe and hit that bell icon so I know when the next video will come out so I can get definitely started. Now, time to think.